Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. In my previous video, I shared pretty much my whole career journey starting as an international student all the way up to a staff engineer. So in this video, I'm spilling the real stuff that actually helped me grow my career as a software developer, earning from this to this. If you're trying to level up in tech, grab a drink and let's hang out. Okay, here are the 5 lessons I picked up along the way. I really wish I'd known them a bit earlier. Hopefully they'll make your path a little bit easier. Alright, lesson number 1, always be prepared. I know this might sound boring, but for me, being prepared wasn't a nice quote. It was survival back then. I came to Canada as an international student and I actually came from a non-6 background. Everyone around me had 6-degree, local experience, better English. I knew there was no way for me that I could compete with them if I just followed the normal path. So I realized something. If I want to find a full-time job here, I knew get into the co-op program first and then doing an internship at a local company would be the best way to pave the path. But to get into the co-op, I had to stand out from hundreds of other applications and I had nothing. So I decided to start one step earlier than everyone else. In my first year during the summer, while most of the students just choose to relax or take courses, I decided to get the plane and flew back to China. And my only mission back then is to get any real work experience no matter what. During that summer, I took the train alone to Shenzhen, where most of the tech companies are located in China. I rented a room, I sent out hundreds of CVs in different companies, different industries, and of course, rejection. Nobody wants 1 month intern back then. But I kept emailing HRs, I explained my situation. I only have 1 or 2 months, but I really want real work experience. Eventually, a tiny game studio said yes. It was just a bit more than 1 month. And the work wasn't super fancy or cutting edge, but it was real. Real company, real teammates, and real deadlines. We work like different projects together. There's collaboration, communication, and that turned into one magical line on my resume, game studio internship. I was still the same person, but now I wasn't no experience anymore. After that, when I came back to school, I put in the work, wrote a serious co-op application, got help from others to refine it, polish it days and night, and eventually I stood out from hundreds of applications and got into the co-op program. But I didn't stop there. At Ericsson, during one of my internships, I met another student. We were both hungry, and on weekends, we started going to hackathons together. There's a company hackathons, school hackathons. If there is a free pizza and a chance to build something, we showed up. We even tried to start a little startup together back then. We joined the McGill-Dobson Cup startup competition. We spent the nights building our MVP, pitched our ideas, and actually made it to the next round. Unfortunately, we didn't move much further, but we built experience, and that is the most valuable thing that we gained from there. Those projects forces us to take whatever we learned in class and actually use it on something real. So later, when recruiters look at my resume, it wasn't just the courses anymore. It was game studio internship, co-op, hackathon, startup competition, all kinds of real experience and projects. When I say always be prepared, I don't mean you have to be perfect. I don't mean you need the best school or perfect English or the smartest brain in the room. I mean, just don't sit there waiting for someone to give you a chance. Look at the game you're trying to play here. You want a full-time job, you want a co-op program, you want an internship, whatever it is, and ask yourself, what's the step before that? And what can I do now to be ready for it? For me, that was 1 month game studio internship, a co-op application I actually worked hard on, and a bunch of hackathons and a tiny startup attempt. None of them were huge on their own, but together they made me look like someone who was already ready. And that's the part I hope you can take away from this. Your first thing doesn't have to be big, it just has to be real. Do something small now that you think could help you to get into the next step. So when the real opportunity shows up, you're not starting from zero. You can already say, yeah, I've done this before. And that's usually all you need to get into the next level. So for me, one of the biggest reasons I grew faster was actually pretty simple. I didn't stay in the wrong place for too long. And here comes to my second lesson, know when to exit and pivot really fast. Pivot! My first real job was at Ericsson, this big corporate, pretty stable, and a good brand name looks pretty good on your resume. The work was pretty stable. Then start look around the people. They're just doing the same type of work every day, repeatedly. The same project, same routine, not many energy like out there. Then I started to think about myself. What do I see myself in 30 years? Like, am I gonna repeat it doing the same work in the same position? For this one, I could already see my future. I realized that maybe I wasn't just comfortable for this stable environment, right? I probably want to still chasing something and want to build something. For me, staying here is actually more risk than just to leave the company. After 2 years, I made a big decision, so I just quit. I just no job lineup. I just quit. It sounds a bit crazy, but I think it was the right move at that time. And if I just continue staying there for a couple more years, maybe I get used to the comfortable zone. I wasn't trying to optimizing for what looked good to other people. I was just trying to optimizing for a better future version of me. My next job is a mid-sized company, which also looks pretty good on the paper, and there's also decent salary. I even got a raise from that company. However, it's kind of same situation again. But the problem is in that company, all the technologies they're building is in-house and very proprietary. So I ask myself, like, if I got a job in a different company, would all the technologies I learned in this company apply to the other one? Will it transferable? I realize probably no. Unless I want to stay in this company for another like maybe 10, 15 years, I become expertise in that type of tech stack, then it wouldn't make much sense for me to continue staying in that company. Those technologies I want to learn is should be like more valuable across the whole like tech market. And again, so after 8 months, I decided to quit again. I wasn't wait for years for this time, so just a short 8 months. But this time I jump into the next company, which through a referral, and that one becomes the best company I've ever worked, and I never regret it. Well, when I say pivot fast, I didn't mean that you just quit your job without any planning, or maybe just had a one really bad week. I mean, just be honest with yourself and ask yourself these questions. Am I still learning things? Are all the technologies I'm learning in this company, are they still valuable in this whole market, not just within this company? Or if you see yourself in the next maybe 5 to 10 years, are you still okay that you are doing this repetitive work over and over again? If all these answers are no, maybe the big risk or the real risk is staying, not leaving. Well, you don't have to jump this blindly, right? You can plan this smart. You can plan your exit while you're still there. Just start to interviewing quietly, listing all the things that you want to learn in maybe in the next 1 to 2 years, and try to find the roles where the people, the technology, can push you into the right direction. So jobs are not 30 years contracts; they're chapters. And sometimes the faster way to grow in your career is to close the wrong chapters a little bit earlier so that you can start writing the right one. Lesson number 3, co own your career with your manager. Stop trying to build your whole career alone in your head and start building it together with your manager. In my early years, I thought my job was simple: do good work and wait. And one day, someone would magically notice and say, "Hey, promotion time." But it doesn't really work like that. Your manager is busy, they're dealing with deadlines, fires, and other people's problems. They're not sitting there every day thinking, how can I design the perfect growth plan just for you? And also, they can't read your mind. If you never say what you want, you will just get random projects, random feedback, random growth. At some point, I realized my career is my responsibility, but my manager can be my biggest ally if I actually use them. So instead of sitting there, bang my head on the table alone, I went to my manager and say, "Hey, I want to grow to the next level in the next 1 to 2 years. Can we figure out a plan together?" Well, not in a demanding way, but more like a collaboration. Like, here are the areas I think I'm strong. Here's the gaps I see. What do you think I need to do to be ready for the next level? That one conversation changes everything because once you say it out loud, your manager knows what you want. They can start giving you the right kind of problems. Maybe it's a project that touches multiple teams, maybe something messy but high impact that nobody else has time to clean up. Maybe it's just mentoring a junior or leading a small feature end to end. These are exactly kind of things that show you're ready for senior or staff or whatever level is next. The key is you have to be specific, not I want to grow. Everyone wants to grow. It's more like I'd like to be considered for senior in the next cycle. What would that look like here? What kind of impact do I need to show? What projects can we pick up that will help me to get there? Then you are not just guessing, you are basically co-writing your promotion packages with your manager in advance. And don't do this once and forget. You check in. Every few one-on-ones you ask, are we still on track? Is there anything I can do differently? Is there any chance that I can take more ownership on this project? It's still your career. You're still responsible, but you are no longer playing the game alone. So when I say co-own your career with your manager, I mean stop hoping someone will notice you quietly grinding in the corner. Open your mouth, share your goals, ask for specific opportunities that give you impact and visibility. Well, this week, you don't have to do something huge. Just pick one thing, your next one-on-one, tell your manager what you're aiming for and ask, what's one project or responsibility I could take on that would move me closer to that? That one question can change the trajectory of your next few years. All right, lesson number 4, be kind, be professional, and build your network. For me, lesson 4 is very simple. Be kind, be professional, and your network will quietly change your whole career. So in tech, you work with people from everywhere, right? From different countries, they might have different backgrounds, they different cultures, and they may have different ways of thinking. So conflicts are very normal. Disagreements are normal. But the thing is that how you can handle this properly in a professional manner. Early in my career, I sometimes took things too personally. When someone's saying my code wasn't great, I feel like they were just saying I wasn't great. So it hurt my personal feelings. But that doesn't help anyone. So at some point, I decided I will handle this conflict like professional, not like a hurt student. So that means a few things. First of all, focus on the work, not the person. Some practical example, like when you are in the code review, don't say that, oh, you did this wrong. You shouldn't do this. You should try that. Instead, you can say, this function is a bit hard to read. Maybe we can split it. Or this approach might break these edge cases. What do you think if you can try this XYZ? So talk about the code, talk about the design, the architecture, be objective, not about someone's ability. Second thing is assume good intent. Most people are not trying to attack you. They just see the problems from different angles, right? Because we all have different backgrounds. So instead of firing back, you can say, okay, you can help me understand your concern, or let's look at these requirements together and see what fits better. Sometimes you might still disagree, but now it's the two professionals solving a problem, not two egos fighting. When you handle conflicts like this, something interesting happened. People start to trust you. They know that even if you disagree, you stay calm, fair, and respectful. And that trust makes collaboration so much easier. The other side of this lesson is share what you know, no matter how small it is. So a lot of people will just wait until they feel that they're being expertise about something before they share anything. But honestly, some of the most useful things are the tiny tips you already know. For example, like a shortcut in your editor, a script you wrote to save 10 minutes a day, a way you debug API issue quickly. So all this kind of stuff, just say it out loud. Post it on a Slack, show it in a quick show and tell. Maybe it feels small to you, but for someone else, it can save hours. If you want to grow into a senior or beyond, this matters a lot. You are not just writing code, you are making the whole team better. Like mentoring juniors when you can, review their PRs in a kind way, explain the why, not just the what, give them a chance to shine. And slowly, you'll become the center of a small circle. You're building allies around you, simply by being professional in conflicts and generous with your knowledge. And that network, those people who trust you, who like working with you, they're the ones who will later refer you, recommend you for promotions, and pull you into great opportunities. So the lesson here is be kind, be professional, and share what you know. Next time when you review a PR, focus on the code, not the person. Next time when you discover a useful trick, don't keep it in your head, share it. And that's how you quietly build a strong network while just trying to be a decent teammate.
Okay.
Lesson number 5 for me is probably the most important one.
You gotta stay relaxed.
Yes, you heard him. You gotta stay relaxed and actually enjoy the work. Similar to stockbrokers in tech, it's very easy to forget about this. We are always chasing something, the next promotion, the next raise, the next staff or principal title. And meanwhile, you are spending 40 hours a week at work, sometimes maybe more time with your colleagues than with your own family. If you don't enjoy any of it, that's a big problem. There were definitely times in my career where I pushed way too hard. Late nights, weekends, always saying yes. On paper, it looked like I was killing it, but inside, I was just really tired, exhausted. So when you're into that mode, you stop seeing work as craft. It becomes this constant pressure. Every bug feels personal, every meeting feels a fight. And funnily enough, when you are that tense, you actually perform worse. You make more mistakes, you are less creative, you are less patient with other people. At some point, I had to remind myself, this is a long game. A tech career is 20, 30, or maybe 40 years. You can't just sprint the whole way. So I started doing something simple. I gave myself permission to relax a bit, not stop caring, but stop treating every single sprint like it's life or death. If a project slips by a couple of days, we fixed it. If I'm exhausted, I take a real weekend, close the laptop, spend the time with family, go outside, enjoy the sun. I also start choosing work I can actually enjoy. Interesting problems, people I like working with, a culture where I can joke a little bit and just be myself. And because if you are going to spend half of your waking life doing this, it shouldn't be a constant misery. When I say relax and enjoy, I don't mean be lazy or stop having ambition. I mean, don't sacrifice your entire life and mental health for just one more Jira ticket. Your career is important, but it's not the only thing. You are allowed to have hobbies, family time, slow evenings with no side projects. If you're feeling burned out right now, it's okay to pause, breathe, and adjust the pace. You'll still grow. In fact, you'll probably grow faster because you can actually think clear and enjoy the journey a little bit. So the last lesson is this. Build your skill, push yourself when it matters, but don't forget to be a human being. You're not just a title or a salary number. You're allowed to enjoy the ride. So that's my journey so far, from an intern to a staff engineer. There was no magic trick. It was just a lot of small, unsexy things done over and over. Being prepared and building my own hustle, pivoting fast when the job wasn't right, co-owning my career with my manager, being kind, professional, and building a real network, and still remembering to relax and enjoy the ride. If any part of this hit you, tell me, where are you right now? If you're an intern, junior, mid, senior, and I'll try to make more videos to help you get your next level. See you next time. Peace.